Nobody accidentally built a successful business. At some point, somebody sat down and put together a plan. And today, that somebody is you. A lot of folks skip the marketing plan altogether because it sounds like corporate busy work. And I totally get it. The word marketing plan does have PowerPoint deck 1980s written all over it, but the version we're building today fits on one page and will do more for your business than 6 months of randomly posting everything that you could ever post. Step one of your plan is to analyze your current situation. This first step is a total audit of where you are right now, and you got to be honest. That's important. That's how you're going to grow. You want to look at a few things. What services are you currently offering and which ones are actually selling? What marketing have you tried and what results did that marketing produce or not produce? What are your clients saying about working with you? What words are they using to describe their transformation? And if you have a website or some social media presence, is it doing any real work for you or is it just existing? A really useful tool here is a SWOT analysis that shows your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I know it sounds like business school, but it actually works. This is a good exercise that I like to do once a year. And it does show you the kind of stuff that you might be avoiding and you should be doing. I know a lot of people that have done the SWOT analysis, especially right now, their weakness is AI. So let's say you're a career coach. Your strength might be that you have 15 years of corporate HR experience and you're like super warm and you have a really cool coaching style that gets you awesome testimonials. Your weakness might be that your website's outdated, your LinkedIn profile still leads to like the wrong links or maybe has the wrong job titles. And your opportunities might be there's a lot of people leaving corporate right now. They need what you have to offer. And your threats might be that the career coaching space is getting really crowded and a lot of people are offering cheap or free resources that kind of compete with what your programs are. And that SWOT analysis gives you an incredible clear picture of where to focus. You know what you're working with and you know what you're working against. Beyond the SWOT analysis, you also want to do a solid buyer persona analysis at this stage. Your buyer persona is a detailed profile of your ideal client. Not just demographics like age and location, but psychographics too. What keeps them up at night? What have they already tried that hasn't worked? What does their life look like before they find you? And what do they want to look like after? The more specific you get here, the better. So something like marketing professionals in their 30s. That's not a buyer persona. Sarah, a 34-year-old marketing manager at a mid-sized tech company who's great at her job, but has been passed over for promotion twice. And she's starting to wonder if she needs to go out on her own. That was a beautiful buyer persona. You gave it a face. You gave it your ideal client list of what you want to go after. Step 2, analyze your competition. So this step gets its own section because it's so important. And sometimes it makes us feel bad to see our competitors doing so good. And sometimes we get a little bit scared that we'll never reach our goal. But competitor analysis is not the comparison game. I don't want you spiraling. It's just to know what's out there and what other people are doing. It helps you understand the landscape that you're operating in so you can figure out your own lane and you own that. Look at 2 or 3 people in your space. What are they talking about in their content? How are they positioning themselves? What do their offers look like? What's their price points? And what are people saying about them in comments and reviews and that type of stuff? Like what kind of praise do they get? And then figure out what their gaps are too. Because maybe what they're not doing is what you can then actually sell to the clients. Every competitor has blind spots, and your job is to find them. A great real world example of this is how Twitch built its business. When they launched, they didn't try to compete with YouTube across every content category. They looked at the landscape and found a very, very, very specific gap: live gaming content. And then they owned it completely. They became the go-to platform for that one thing before they ever tried to expand. And that laser focus on a specific underserved need is what made them. You don't need to reinvent the wheel in your niche. You just need to find the thing that's missing and be that person who delivers it better than anybody else. When you do that analysis, you want to answer these specific questions. What's their approximate business volume and how they got there? What's their price point? How do they get their clients? And what can you deliver differently or better? Step 3 is your objective. This is where most marketing plans fall apart. And it's not because people don't care about their goals. It's because they set goals that are way too vague, or maybe they're like just too high. You want to give it a SMART goal, which is specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic. And the T stands for time bound. So a vague goal is I want more visibility online. A SMART objective is I want to grow my LinkedIn following from 800 to 1,500 connections and increase my average post impressions by 40% within the next 90 days by posting 5 times per week and engaging daily in the comments of posts by my ideal clients. See the difference? The second one tells you exactly what to do, how to measure it, and how to evaluate it. You either hit it or you didn't. Here are some examples of SMART objectives that actually make sense for a business like yours, probably. Like book 4 new discovery calls per month through inbound LinkedIn content by the end of the next quarter. Launch 1 new lead magnet and grow your email list to 200 subscribers within 60 days. Convert 2 existing newsletter subscribers into paying clients by the end of the month through some kind of targeted email sequence. Or generate 3 new client referrals in quarter 3 by implementing a formal referral program with existing clients. One more thing on objectives. Keep the list short. 2 or 3 is okay for each quarter. And I know it's tempting to write down like 11, 12 things because you have dreams that you want to achieve. But let's be reasonable, because if you put your objectives and your goals and everything too high and you don't meet those, you're going to come crashing down. Step 4 is build your action plan. Now we get to do the part that most people want to jump to first, me including. What are you actually going to do? Your action plan is where you take objectives and you translate them into specific strategies and into specific tactics. And the key here is to go from like big picture down to the specifics. Broad strategies first, and then the specific actions that support each one of them. Look at your offer. Are there any changes you need to make to what you're selling? How are you packaging it? How are you describing it? That kind of stuff. Maybe you need to rewrite a landing page or a sales page. Maybe you need to create a new entry-level offer. Maybe you just need to get clear on the transformation that you're actually giving people. And then look at your pricing. Do you need to adjust those prices? Do you need to create a new tier? Do you need to have a payment plan? I suggest those because I used to not have them. And I have one offer that is $2,000, which is too much for some people to pay. And I worked with somebody and they said, hey, can you make a payment plan? And I was like, why didn't I think of that? So of course, now I have a payment plan for that higher offer that I have. Then I want you to think about the place where people are buying. Do you need a clearer path? Do you need to set up a discovery call link? Do you need a better sales page? And then for the promotion piece, this is the biggest section of the action plan because you're probably going to do a lot of stuff. What content are you going to do? Which platforms are you going to be on? How often are you going to do that? What is the sequence of your emailing? What kind of welcome email messages do you have? If you're doing paid stuff, what kind of ads are you running? What kind of paid promotions are you doing? What kind of partnerships and that type of thing? Let me give you an example of a productivity coach and give you like what that would look like. So for their objective, they book 3 new discovery calls per month. They use LinkedIn and their time bound is quarter 2. The actions is to post on LinkedIn 5 times a week, and they separate it by educational content, by personal stories, and then of course by like case studies, by client results. And then they also engage for 20 minutes daily on posts of their ideal clients and like people that they want to work with. And then of course they need to update their LinkedIn bios and their headlines and all that good stuff. And they need to talk about that transformation that they deliver. And then on some of the posts, they need to have a clear call to action. Maybe they have a discovery call link, or they just say like, hey, hit me up in the DMs. Then they can also add on sending monthly emails to their existing list to make sure that those people stay warm and then end up buying. And then they also want to invite them to a discovery call or send them to the sales page. Now, all that is a real action plan. It's specific, it's doable, and directly connected to the objective. So step 5, review, measure, and adjust. Here's the thing about your marketing plan that a lot of people miss. It is not a document that you like create once and never look at again, or you hang it on a wall somewhere. It's a living, breathing document that needs regular attention and needs regular updates. A good way to do that at the beginning is to do it monthly. I now at my point, I do it quarterly because I know what I'm doing. I've been doing this for a very long time. But when you're first starting out, I tell a lot of my clients to do it monthly. So Coca-Cola is a great example of a brand that has been doing this for over a century. They have a core marketing strategy that stays consistent. They talk about happiness and they talk about connection. And then, of course, they tie that in with their refreshments. But the tactics that they use to execute that strategy have evolved over the times, from print to TV to social media and to experiential marketing. The foundation, though, has always stayed the same, but the execution, the action plan, always evolves. Your version might look like your core message and your offer stays consistent, but then you test different content formats, different platforms, different promotional angles, and you keep what works and let go of what doesn't. Now, the truth about marketing plans is back in the day, and it's like big enterprise companies, they have like marketing plans that are like books, which I think is stupid because marketing changes way too much, especially now in the age of AI, that I think if you just have a marketing structure, which can simply be a one-page plan, and that is what you visit every quarter, that is what's going to make you successful. Because you don't want something really giant that you're never going to plan and look at again. You want a plan that you can see quickly and then you can stick to. All right, make sure you subscribe, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought of this and what else you want to see from me going forward. And here is your next video to watch.